Hey there, good morning. Got a lot of inquiries the other day about how the DADBODD worked at the range, and because of other family commitments, I couldn't make it to the range. But today I have, I'm out here early trying to beat the Mississippi heat to play around with the DADBODD a little bit. This is my first time shooting the device, so I guess we'll find out what's going on. Real quick, the idea that this device does is it provides a visual start and stop signal for your shooting actions. It has other modes, which I'll try to discuss here, depending on how all this flows. But the whole idea is I'm gonna get a visual signal to start, and I'm gonna get a visual signal to stop. It basically randomizes how long you have of a shooting window, or you can set it very specifically. So I think I've got it set for somewhere between 1 and 3 seconds. We're gonna see how that visual start works, and hopefully I'll be able to share some of the data off of the screen here. All right. But the way it looks is, if I'm reading this thing right, is I had an exposure of 1.82 seconds. My draw to first shot was 163. The other shots following that were after the cumulative par. So the way this breaks down is my draw to first shot was 163. After the stimulus went off, I fired one shot 0.08 seconds after that, and another shot 0.32 seconds after it. Depending on who you talk to, we can justify shots after the stop stimulus ending anywhere from a half to a full second. So the good news is, outside of some quality of fire issues, I did draw and fire, and I was able to stop within a reasonable time frame. Again, this is the huge value of the DADBODD, is it is a very economical way to do this. What I'm going to do is, these windows are really, really short. I'm going to see how easy it is to actually adjust the par time. All right, so still running in DADBODD mode. I've now bumped my time window to execute actions in between 2 to 3 seconds now. Let's see if this goes any better for us. See, a bunch of you guys were waiting for me to run the gun dry. Sorry to disappoint. Let's see how this goes. Okay, a little more time to work with. Draw to first shot was 160. Again, closed front garment, cold for the first day. I can almost live with that. Every shot I fired was while the stimulus was displayed, right? So my draw to first shot was 189. Next shot after that was at 189. I'm sorry, draw to first shot 160. Next shot 189, 202, 215, 240. 265 as far as that stuff goes. And again, I stopped within the stimulus as far as that stuff goes. And obviously, as I've warmed up, my quality of fire has improved dramatically. Let's see what else we can do. Hey, this is Editing John. Going back through this, it looks like I picked up an echo in there. So I actually fired 6 shots, but it detected 7. So those times aren't exactly right. If you look, you can see the echo that it caught. I just bumped the window out anywhere from 1 to 3 seconds. Let's see how this goes. Oh, okay. That was a good stop. I did not fire any shots. I was given a 132 window. I got the signal to draw and fire, but it had gone away by the time I got the gun on target and was able to confirm. Let's run that again. I'm going to try to work a deliberate transition to the head as far as that stuff goes. Take another picture of this for you guys to see what the screen looks like. My overall window was 252. Draw to first shot, 164. The follow-up shot was at 190. I wanted to work that headshot. So unfortunately, the stimulus for the headshot went away, so it was technically late. But that headshot was fired 0.16 after the stimulus went away, which is well within our expected human performance factors. All right, let's run this one more time this way and see how it goes. Oh. I had a window to fire of 1.52 seconds. I fired just a little bit after the stimulus went away. I was 0.15 seconds behind the stimulus going away. Again, human performance factors, we're looking at probably a window. You can very easily justify anything a half second over a stimulus, and in a chaotic, confusing situation, probably a second after the stimulus going away. The DADBODD actually has 3 different modes. The first one we just showed you was the laser start and stop. This performs the function much more of a conventional shot timer. The display is showing a total time of 2.22. First shot was 140, last shot was 222. I've got a different window, let me pop this up, that shows you every shot fired. 140 first shot, 165 follow-up, 0.57 on the transition to the head, overall 222. All right, again, overall time 228, draw the first shot 137, over in 228, hit the next screen for a detailed breakdown. Right, again 137, 161, 228. It's nice, it's showing my times for each shot as well as the splits between each shots. It's on the same screen, you don't have to flip back and forth, which is nice. All right, thanks for your attention. I will go and try to edit this together in some fashion that makes sense. My initial impression standing out here on the range, very favorably impressed. I thought that this was going to be missing a lot of flexibility, but I'm getting a lot of value after learning that start-stop process. I've been through a bunch of classes that taught that, but it is definitely a perishable skill. You saw my start-stop process improving just in the couple of runs here. Hey guys, John Hearn here. I finished editing up the video and thought I'd tack on a few more comments that didn't make it on to the end of my impressions there at the range. So you may be wondering about the relationship between Taylor and me. Don't need to make any disclosures. In a nutshell, I paid the exact same amount of money that they're asking for the basic DADBODD unit. The only difference was I got mine sooner because Taylor and I had discussed the project earlier. But again, other than that, I paid the same amount of money, just got some preference on the delivery date. Another random thing to share with you guys, I know the laser does not pop super bright on the video. I can assure you that's more an artifact of the camera not catching what my eye was seeing. I never had any problem seeing the laser on the target under the lighting conditions I was in. Again, fairly early morning sun, low sun angle, white target backer made everything show up. Things to think about are the FDA actually regulates how powerful lasers can be, and I've used some of the other devices that rely on lasers for this thing, and there are just definite limits to how bright a red laser can be. During daylight conditions, the use of a reflective panel slightly off of the target is how that problem has been being solved. We did that in the John Holshin class I took with the Neuros, and Dustin Solomon's class with the Neuros. So unless you want to get a device with a laser that's basically not eye safe and would probably burn a hole in your target, it's about the best that we can do. Just overall, I was just relating some first impressions that I had for the device. There's a bunch of features and adjustments that I edited out to try to keep the video reasonable. For instance, the interface is really user-friendly. I had set the microphone sensitivity down a lot lower so that I could simulate gunshots by basically banging a hammer on a vise to try to figure out how the DADBODD functioned as far as that stuff goes. And part of the reason you saw echoes, those sort of issues, was that I had not bumped up the sensitivity of the mic when I went out to do live fire. Another cool feature that I don't show in the video but exists in the product is there's this thing called Retro Review that's designed specifically to help fix echoes and those split kind of errors we saw. You can basically go in and remove one of those echoes and it will automatically recalculate all of the splits and times to correct as far as that stuff goes. As I mentioned, the user interface is ridiculously simple for as many options as the device has. I passed on a few notes as far as like visibility and maybe letting some windows be set more specifically, but I think the interface for what the device does is just about perfect. Other random thoughts I'm just going to point out was if you watch the whole video, you noticed I had a huge change in my draw to first shot between working off a visual signal and a shot timer. As soon as I went to a normal shot timer. My draw to first shot dropped down well under 1.5, and again, I'm shooting this from a closed front strong side holster, so I would say that speed off the timer is more what you would expect for somebody to be able to shoot. But again, everybody pays a penalty when you start working off a visual start signal. I think so far I found the device to be a huge bargain, just from the standpoint that it's 3 devices in one. The big advantage, the big use this thing has is for a visual start-stop signal that gives you really good data on whether you started and stopped within the defined parameters. That's hugely valuable as far as that stuff goes. But it is also a conventional shot timer that will throw a laser splash. So if you have shooters that have hearing impairment issues, they'll also get a red splash on the target to know when to start shooting. And then finally, it is also a dry practice tool. It interfaces with the Mantis devices like the Titan or the Blackbeard X that deliver a signal every time the trigger is pressed. I have not had a chance to play with those features, but I'm looking forward to being able to do that in the near future. If you've taken any of my classes, I'm not saying that this is cognitive pistol in a box. That's a long way down the road. The big thing is you really only have one piece of data that you have to parse. The laser's either there or it's not. That is not perfect as far as what I try to do in my classes, but as far as a great first step to take scripting out of the shooting process, I think that this device is a huge bargain for being able to do that. If it did nothing but help you train the start and stop process, I still think it would be hugely valuable. The other thing I noticed is that it tends to help reduce your round counts on your practice sessions. If you're shooting and assessing, it's actually helps with the ammo expenditure, keeps it more reasonably. Finally, I guess the question we have to ask is, what is a KickStarter and how do I order? In a nutshell, KickStarter is not like Amazon where you click a button and you get the stuff shipped to you the next day. KickStarter is used to fund projects that have a large startup cost. As somebody that bought the tool and die to make the TACMAN target and paid for the first production run, there's a huge upfront investment when you try to do projects like that. What KickStarter does is they only charge you if the project gets fully funded. So if the total sits at $19,550, you get refunded your money. You only get charged if the Kickstarter goes over the $20,000 that I think it is. You basically go to the DADBODD page. I'll try to put a link down here underneath for that link as far as that stuff goes. But that is how you would get in line to do this. I cannot emphasize this enough. This device is a huge bargain, and it will never be this cheap again. Final closing thought, I guess, as far as you're looking at options, my understanding is that there's 2 packages. The upgraded package includes a green laser instead of a red laser. If you plan on using this a lot outdoors, it may be worth paying the extra to get the green laser. If you're only going to run this on an indoor range, then the red laser is more than adequate. Again, I'm not done with the DADBODD device. I plan on doing some more work with it. It'll probably become a huge part of my training process now. I've seen that, I've had that visual start-stop process trained a lot better post-class, and it was just disappointing to me to see how much that had atrophied. So I will be making this a regular part of my training, and I will let you guys know how that works out. Thanks for your time and attention.